When did you actually volunteer?
Yeah, I would say it will be either September, when Britain declared war on Germany, that's 1939, or perhaps even before that.
Do you remember the precise occasion that you made that decision?
No, I don't, no.
Would you have gone to the recruitment office or whatever by yourself, or would you have actually gone with a group of friends?
No, actually I went on my own, but the others were there, or others were arriving. Because when you go to these places, they treat you like bloody kettles, you just say, oh, sit down, and you just wait. And of course they give us a little exam. For instance, I remember one of the questions, I suppose they realized that most of us were illiterate or quasi-illiterate, and they said, you know what a spy is? Yes, a person who tells about others, you see. And, silly things like that. What does a plane does? A plane flies, sir, you see. And silly things like that. And I remember a question. He said to me, where does the milk come from? I said, from the grocery shop. And I think what he meant for me to say, the cow. Well, I never heard of a bloody cow before that, but at least I should have said goat.
Yes.
But anyway, that's how it goes.
That would have been a test more for English, wouldn't it, than anything else?
Oh,
yes,
yes,
testing
that's
your
right.
language
That's
skills.
right, yes. And also a question was, in one of the questions, that you had to fill an application. Are you of European descent? But I think we proved ourselves. I think everybody who joined. We had an old boy, he was 53, and he joined the Royal Air Force, and he had 3 sons in the Royal Navy, and he served in the Canadian Army, and then he returned to Malta and joined up.
Can you tell me just a bit more about the procedure you went through when you did join? Apart from testing your English, what other tests were there?
Oh, you had the eyes examination, chest, throat, teeth, even your private parts checked, even that. And I would have failed if I let them do the same thing as they did in the police force. They rejected me from the police force because of the short-sightedness of one eye, the right eye. And I learned the trick that when they put an envelope between your 2 eyes, all you had to do is just move your head a bit there, and you're looking through the both eyes. And I'm glad I did that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have joined the Royal Air Force.
And were there recruiting stations in Sliema and Melita and all the cities and towns?
No, I don't think they had them in each town. I think you had to go to Valletta, as a matter of fact.
And I was wondering whether the other people who you knew who were also joining up, were they people you had worked with, or were they neighbours? Or?
Oh no, they were people that I knew by sight more than anything else. And of course, when we got into the recruiting office, then of course we chatted and all that. And where are you from? Oh yeah, I'm from Birgo, and I'm from Calafrana, and I'm from Burza, Oh yeah, and I'm from Sliema. Yeah, I'm from Sliema too, and then you get acquainted with them. And we had quite a lot. And of course there were others who joined the army instead.
I was going to ask.
Yes, yes, plenty joined the army, plenty joined the Royal Navy. And some, like myself, joined the Royal Air Force.
And you wouldn't have joined the British Army, would you? It would have been the Royal Malta Artillery, or...?
Yes, they had 2 lots. They had the King's Own Malta Regiment, which it was the tough lot, believe you me, the tough lot. And then you had the Royal Malta Artillery, which they were actually before the war. They were a peacetime army, and they had very good record of target shooting. Before the war, they used to go to UK, and they used to have a lot of competition there with the Royal Artillery and the Irish Fusiliers and so on in target practice, and they always came tops.
Your brother Michael joined the Navy. Was he the first to join one of the British forces?
My brother, yes, he joined the Royal Navy. Well, actually, if you go back, my father was in the Royal Navy, long before, in the First World War. And Michael, yes, he joined the Royal Navy because that was more or less an industry, joining the Royal Navy from Malta. It was an employment outlet.
And that's why he would have joined, is
That's
it?
correct. Yeah.
Because he joined before the war.
Oh, long before the war, yes.
How did your father respond to you joining the Air Force?
Oh, he was so proud. He was really thrilled. He was so very proud of me that I joined the Royal Air Force. I only regret that he didn't see me in uniform. He knew I was in the Air Force because I used to send him out of the 40 shillings a week that we were getting in the Royal Air Force. And that's not because I was Maltese. The British were getting the same wages. And I was making allowance to him, about 4 or 5 shillings a week allowance to go to my father, which he always blessed me and respected me for that and loved me for it.
Mm-hmm. What about the attitude of Nina and Mary and Jessie?
Well, tell you the truth, when the war started, I didn't see Jessie, I didn't see Mary, because we didn't used to see them anyway. But Nina, yes, and that was the last person I saw of my relations before I left Malta. I went to her place in Sliema, in Melita Street, I think it was, and she was living there. And as soon as I got in, a big air raid came along, and I was frightened to death because the Monitor, that's a big ship full of anti-aircraft, was firing like mad. And Nina, my sister, she had the radio blaring, the dog was barking, and on top of that she said to me, "Look, I can spare an egg, I boil it for you." I said, "Nina, just now I don't want to hear of egg or anything. Let's go under the bloody table because we're going to get killed." "Oh," she said, "don't worry about that." She said, "I never worry about it." But I was bloody scared, I tell you. And then I left, and a few days later we were told to get your kit bags because we're always on standby anyway. You've got an hour to get your things and off we go. And we were packing during a big air raid, and the British boys, I must say, they were very angry that we were being taken on the lorries while the air raid was on. And then the officer changed his mind and he sent us to the air raid shelter. There were several of the Maltese artillery got injured that night, and of course the reason why the Italians attacked us so heavy that night, it's because they realized that the Royal Navy came into the harbour to take us away. So when the all clear was announced, they told us to hurry up, get out, get on the lorries, and off we went. And a lot of streets where they had barbed wire, and the King's Own Malta Regiment were on guard on each street, and by golly, if you don't answer, they fire. They don't ask you twice. Hold, who goes there? If you don't tell them, they fire at you. So after that, we got onto the to the Grand Harbour, and they took us, of course, by boats onto the Royal Sovereign, which it was then the flagship of ships that we came on with to Alexandria.
Yes, I was wondering, though, how you felt about leaving hairdressing to join the Air Force.
Oh, well, I felt that I had to, because, again, you still had certain amount of patriotism, especially in those days. I still had some pro-British feeling and anti-Hitler. And therefore, you had First, as I said, that I had to leave my place with my sister. One. Two, also that I had to get some satisfaction and adventure of the war. And three, you have a position in the Air Force.
What was adventure a part of it, was it?
Oh, sure. Oh, yes. Definitely.
What sort of adventure did you think you were going to be in for?
Well, seeing other countries where otherwise I wouldn't have had the chance. I even thought perhaps that they will send me to England.
Yes.
But they didn't. They sent us to Egypt, Middle East, and we had a hell of a journey. As a matter of fact, there is a book called East of Malta, West of Suez. I can't recall who wrote it, and describe our trip from Malta to Alexandria. We had attacked by submarines, by aircraft, and by the Italian Navy.